Montana currently has the highest veteran suicide rate in the nation.
30% of veterans have a significant disability rating through the VA.
7.5% of veterans live at or below the poverty level.
Montana has one of the highest per capita rates of veterans in the United States. Our rate runs about 10%, which means we have an incredibly patriotic state, and for that I'm very grateful.
Hey there, I'm Nicole King, broker-owner of 41 Realty Group in Billings, Montana. Those are staggering statistics. Every year, my brokerage partners with area nonprofits to raise money and awareness for their causes. In 2020, we focused on nonprofits working with women and children. And in 2021, we'll be working with nonprofits serving veterans so that hopefully those statistics will go down. To prepare for this year's work, we met with about a dozen local nonprofits in October and November. During those meetings, we asked, where is the gap in services for veterans in Yellowstone County? And how can we either fill that gap or get a really good start at it? Aside from funding, their answers were consistently, one, getting the word out about their programs, and two, connecting with those who need their services. So then the question became, how can we help? One after another, they told us about a unique and effective newer nonprofit that if we could help spread the word about them and their services and then raise funds to help them stay in business, all the other veteran nonprofits would benefit. I had the privilege of talking with Blake Furman with the Veterans Navigation Network, or VNN for short, a few days ago. Check out our conversation to learn more about their incredible work. The first person that I wanted you to meet is Blake Furman. He is the chairman of Veterans Navigation Network, and they're who we're going to focus primarily on throughout 2021. Blake, tell us how you came up with the idea for Veterans Navigation, a little bit about yourself, what VNN is the initials for Veterans Navigation Network, what you guys do, and how you also connect with all the other nonprofits here in town.
Of course. My name's Blake Furman. I am an Army veteran. Served 4 years in the Ranger Regiment, and just Veterans Navigation Network was completely born out of my transition from service into civilian life. Very difficult for me, and it is for a lot of veterans, to go from this high stress, high octane environment where you also have the support of all your brothers in arms or brothers and sisters in arms, and you go from that to the next day you're out. You can't even get onto the military base in many cases, right? So you get into that realm, and then you move home or move to wherever, and you don't have any of your battle buddies or people you served with in the military, and it's just a complete change of pace. And if you don't know what you're doing, which many people don't, then it can lead to a lot of challenges. So that's what Veterans Navigation Network started out of, was my own challenge during that transition.
Sure. How long ago did you transition out of military into civilian life?
I got out of the military in 2013, and I think I'm still transitioning out of service, right? Even though I only served 4 years, I mean, it was such a huge part of my life, and there's still days that I struggle, just like anybody would struggle, right? Miss friends, miss fallen comrades, all of that, but that is part of my life, so you never really transition away from that, but you integrate into this new world that you live in. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That makes sense. So the first couple of years that you were out, because VNN has only been around for about 2 years, correct?
A year now.
Okay. So you were out in 2013, and now it's 2021. Tell us about those few years. What were the things that you particularly struggled with, and did you just find that there were no services to meet your needs, or tell us kind of about that?
Yeah, so when I got out, I'd just gotten divorced. I had 3 deployments to Afghanistan. One of those lost a couple friends, and throughout the 3, several people that I knew had been killed in combat, and seeing atrocities of war, you just I saw all that, and then I came home to my family, moved from Georgia, where I was stationed, to Wyoming, and my family, thankfully for me, I had a super supportive family, and they were really awesome, tried to help out in any way they could, but They just didn't know what I had gone through. And so I turned to alcohol to numb the pain that I'd gotten from a parachuting injury and the emotional pain that I had suffered from my time in service, and alcohol, gambling, everything, that I shouldn't have been turning to is what I was turning to. So I didn't have that support or that network, and that's what I relied on. And it was pretty disastrous for me just as a person and as a human being to go down that road without support. And not necessarily without support, but without support that was targeted and knew exactly what I needed in those times, right?
Definitely. And so your experience with not having the targeted support is what birthed then VNN. And you're here in Billings now, so you went from Wyoming to Billings. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so when I got back to Wyoming, I struggled. I looked for other jobs and just couldn't find anything that brought the camaraderie of the military back or filled the void that I felt in my life. And so I just applied to all kinds of jobs and struggled. And finally I got in a training position where there was other veterans involved, and they really guided me and mentored me and helped me turn my life around. And that was in Alabama. And then I moved back from Alabama to Montana with my current wife, and just realized that mentorship was so powerful, and that I saw a ton of veterans in Billings, Montana that lacked that in their own lives. And it hit me like, why isn't anybody doing this, right? And so there's so many great organizations in Montana and Billings specifically that help veterans. But as a struggling veteran, if I went to one and it didn't work out perfect or something like that, right, I would have just, I would have gotten discouraged. I would have maybe, well, that didn't work out, I'm going to go drink, or I'm going to go, and for me, that was a challenge. So having somebody to walk with me would have been immensely powerful. And that's why I want to make VNN work in the Billings community. And I think it will. It's already starting to prove to work.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So what you guys do is you have mentor veterans who then you partner up with veterans who are either just brand new to the transition out, or maybe have transitioned out years ago and are now needing to plug into the services that are available to them, like Adaptive Performance Center, dog tag buddies, Horses, Spirits, Healing. It sounds like basically dozens of different nonprofits that they can plug into, plus then the services available through the VA. Mm-hmm. And you help them do that with one person that they can talk to, who then helps them.
Yeah, exactly. So there's basically a constant, right? They may go to an organization for help, and it may not be the right fit, right? And so what we want to be is that constant. So even if this organization doesn't work out, or this option with the VA doesn't work out, or whatever it is, you have that constant that's there by your side the whole time, and just walking you through that and helping you problem solve, and not necessarily holding your hand, but keeping you accountable and making sure that you're getting what you need.
Probably pretty similar to somebody having your back in the military, that you've got your comrades that are right there that are going through that entire walk with you side by side, and this is essentially what you're providing for them.
Exactly. That's a great way of putting it. And there's organizations like Dog Tag Buddies and APC and Horses, Spirits, Healing, and they're all great, and they do great things for veterans, but at any time they may not fit the whole bill. So they all have their individual niches that they help the veterans fill, and the gaps that they help them fill, but at the end of the day, they don't do everything, right? And neither do we at Veterans Navigation Network, but we'll find out who does. And that's something that takes something off the plate of the veteran and helps them get what they need.
And their friends and family, like your friends and family, when you first transitioned out, I bet they sort of felt helpless, saying, I want to help so much, but I don't know how, I don't know who to reach out to, and you can step in and fill that for them. help
sure.
both the caregivers, the friends, the family members, and the veteran all at once to find exactly what that veteran needs. And I would imagine it also helps a bit with the isolation, and there's somebody who's checking back in with that veteran constantly. I mean, one of the statistics we heard is that Montana has the highest suicide rate in the nation for veterans, and I bet that constant checking in helps with a little bit of that isolation.
Yeah, that's really what we want to see is just, obviously everybody wants to see that number go down and that statistic disappear, but, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere right now, and we would love to be a part of that disappearing. So checking in on these veterans is something immensely important, right? In the military, you had a team leader, a supervisor, or somebody like that, or even just your battle buddy, somebody who's the same rank or as you, checking in on you, just watching your back, having your six, whatever you want to call it. And, Veterans Navigation Network may not be able to replicate that completely because, you're not going to have that same relationship you have with somebody that you cleared a room with in Afghanistan, but it's somebody who knows what that was like and can provide something really close to that, more than a spouse or more than a parent or friend who is a civilian could do, right? Because they just don't understand that.
Yeah, when you sit down with a veteran and versus if I sit down with a veteran, they're not going to tell me the same things. They're not going to talk to me in the same way. They're not going to feel the same connection with me that they will with you or with any of the other mentors that you guys provide. Another statistic that we heard at the beginning of the video is that about 10% of Yellowstone County's population are veterans, and that's actually a huge number. So if you Google Billings population or just Yellowstone County's population, 161,000 is what 2019's population was estimated at. We'll see what it comes out at with the census. But if you just take 160,000, that's 16,000 people right here in Yellowstone County that have experienced some portion of the military. And that's a huge number.
It is.
Really, that's just everybody that we're walking past on the street could be a veteran, right?
Yeah.
Statistically, 1 in 10 is going to be.
Yep.
So that's a lot of people. You can't possibly serve all of them. Not all of them necessarily need help.
Yeah,
right?
A lot of them could be our mentors, right? A lot of them, may not be mentors, may not be veterans who need help, but they can help in some other way. And really, they're the community that we live in. They're business owners. They're doctors, they're nurses, they're the different people in the community that you'd never know, but together, they're the veteran community in Billings, they're the community of Billings, really. And just being able to connect that community and, just realize that there's that family here.
Absolutely.
It's incredibly important.
Yeah. And it seems like, one of the other things that we heard is that about 7.5% of veterans live at or below poverty. And I would imagine there's quite a bit of pride involved in asking for help, right?
Sure.
So if they're going without food, going without necessities, going without housing, whatever it is that they're needing, you're a great place to reach out to. That's one person they can talk to and get the assistance they need, right?
Yes, that's exactly with COVID, because we haven't been able to do that face-to-face mentorship as much. That's really what we've been doing is a lot of resource guiding vets to resources that they need, and then just being somebody they can call and talk to, and just help guide them or help problem solve with different things. It's been great to see that we can help even in these crazy times that we're living in.
Yeah. I'll bet even the smallest things are really making a big difference at this point too.
Yeah. Definitely some examples of that. Just whether it's a family in the community that just wants to give something, right? Food, gas, fill a veteran's gas tank, something like that. Like that has been incredibly powerful. One around the holidays like we are now, but just with COVID and isolation, just veterans knowing that people in the community do care about them.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we're setting up is working with coffee shops and restaurants and different vendors to both set up services directly for veterans, but also for them to have information about VNN and about all the different nonprofits here in town right there and available at their counters for people to pick up. So maybe they don't have to make that phone call, but they can pick up a piece of paper and have that with them and connect with Blake later. Also, several coffee shops in town are creating specials on their menus where you order that and the money that is generated from that special goes directly to VNN to help them to continue providing the services. That, I would imagine, all that community support helps those veterans feel like they belong, that they're valued, and that the community is there for them.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a ton of support in the community, and we love seeing it come together to support our veterans.
We appreciate you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for starting VNN. I think 2021 is going to be amazing for VNN, for you, for everybody, and we just so appreciate you.
Well, thank you, definitely, and thank you for the work that you've done and your organization has done on this project.
It's been my pleasure, for sure. Isn't Blake amazing? I am so excited to work with him this year. Over the next few weeks, we'll be rolling out various partnerships throughout Yellowstone County that will, number one, raise awareness for VNN, but they'll also raise funds for them so they can keep serving veterans. I've been reaching out to local business owners over the past couple of months and have been humbled by our community's support of veterans. So many have generously agreed to have info cards and posters and donation boxes at their businesses, and some have even created specials that, when you purchase them, they directly raise money for VNN. We've created a tab on our website, 41realtygroup.com/2021 nonprofits, that lists all of the businesses around town who are supporting our efforts this year and what they're doing. Go there right now to learn where you can shop to support VNN. We'll also have a direct link to VNN's website so you can learn more about them. Next month, we will post a video introducing you to a few of the other area nonprofits who also serve veterans and to whom VNN gets to refer veterans. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss that video. Thank you to everyone who has served or is serving in the military. We can never express how much we appreciate you. See you next time.